I used about 1.5 containers of water to 4 parts Purolite and 1 part cement. I'm just mixing that in, and you can see it's pretty dry. You don't want it too wet because it has to form. You want to mix that cement in real well. That's your bonding. Put some of the mix in the bottom. And I can see already I'm going to have to probably make 3 batches of this. Probably a little more than I thought, but I have enough. Get a little bit in here to get started. I'll feed it through this way. What was I thinking? This is going to go around it like so, now that we have some in the bottom. Okay, and then we'll continue to put some in the bottom. Try and get that centered. Looks pretty good there. Oops, spilled some. Okay. Damp that down. The third batch that we got here. Try to spread this out. I'm going to take this cap off here in a minute. That last little bit, the last little tiny bit, I wanted to use a little pure cement with a bonding agent that I happen to have laying around. Whether or not this was a good idea or not, I don't know, but I had some concrete bonding adhesive. And I wanted to use just the pure cement for the top part because that Purolite is very porous. I want to smooth out this last little bit here. I'm going to take my cover off shortly, and then we'll bag this thing. Here's the finished product. That is before it dries. You'll be able to see down the center here, and you can sort of see inside. And that's going to create the chimney effect. Now we're going to let this dry. Let this dry for at least 3 weeks. Turn it on its side, and I'm just going to scribe a line right here. And then I'll just cut it off. And I'll probably end up having to do the same thing to the other side, but we'll see. Looking at this, it's cured about 10 days now. And the reason that you put so much Purolite in the concrete mix is to provide better insulation so all the heat is funneled into the stack. However, when you do this, I'm not happy with this not being very solid. It does crumble a bit, and so I would say either the mix needs to be have a bit more cement in it. Of course, when you do that, you transfer the heat to the outside as you do that. So to salvage this stove, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a box around it. So I decided to give this thing a little bit of strength on the corners. Is I'd cut a couple pieces of 2x at a 45, and that way when I go to build the box, I'll just be able to put the sides up like this, and then screw those together and knock the forms off. Of course, there'll be a piece that goes on right here, and there'll be the base that goes on below that. So what I'll do is I'll pour the cement in the base. When I get that leveled, I'll set the rocket stove on top, and then I'll put this form around the edge of the base. I really want it going over the edge if I can. Okay, this might just turn out to be a big mess. We'll see. So, like so, okay, and this obviously is not perfect. Okay, looks like it's going to work. Stuck a file to the edge and a ball peen hammer and just sort of folded the edge down a little bit more. And you can either just set that in there, or you could epoxy it in there. I'm thinking that if I put it in there and I'm pulling sticks in and out, it's going to want to come out. So I think I'm just going to put a rivet right in here on either side. Okay. It works just fine for feeding sticks or twigs in, and then just continuing to shove them in and allowing for airflow underneath. You notice this piece only goes as long as the chimney. You're going to have some overhang there, about 4 inches of overhang. Let's see if I can show it. Here we go, the finished product. My son kept calling this a volcano stove, and I was telling him it's a rocket stove. So I sort of painted a rocket on the front, and I just took a piece of leftover scrap from the stovepipe, just cut out a little cleaner here, so when the ashes build up, I'll just be able to reach in here and clean that out pretty easily. Did a little custom job on the side as well, and on the top you can use rocks, you can use bolts, whatever you want, just to get it up off the surface for your pots and pans. I had a couple galvanized fence post brackets, so I'm using those. Of course, you don't want to cook over an open flame with galvanized piping. You want to be in a pot or a pan. And